Captain America, Brave New World. This is a non-spoiler review for the latest MCU film. This is the fourth Captain America film in the franchise. However, I think you could also say it is a sequel to The Incredible Hulk, which is the second movie in the MCU release date. This movie stars Anthony Mackie returning as Sam Wilson, Tim Blake Nelson coming back from, again, Incredible Hulk, Harrison Ford. He is taking the place of the late, great William Hurt as Ross, who is returning. Danny Ramirez, Carl Lumbly, Giancarlo Esposito, and the list goes on and on and on. Okay, so if you saw my not out of the theater reaction, I said basically this movie is fine. Now, is that the kind of thing you want to hear if you made the movie? Probably not. Does it deliver like the old MCU movies did? Not really, no. But I'll tell you, from the scenes that they released before this movie, I was expecting really bad. It's not really bad. Like I said, it's fine. The story is essentially a longer episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, where you still get, which is, I think, something that I was like, okay, we're still doing this, huh? Where Sam Wilson is still trying to accept the fact that he is Captain America now. We know you are. At one point, Ross even tells him, you're not Steve Rogers. But you have Ross, who is now the president, who is relying on Captain America, and they're trying to get a treaty done, and they're trying to do something in general. And what this movie does well, that a lot of MCU movies recently have not done, is connect me to what the hell is happening in the overall. And some people, well, why does a movie need to connect? I hate that it connects. Well, that's what they do. That's what these movies do. If you want your other movies like Avengers and other things to be successful, you got to know what the hell is going on in the through line. This one explains the through line. The post-credit scene explains the through line, and things that are going on throughout this explains it. There's little setups that are going to obviously play towards the Avengers, and I think past the Avengers going forward. Now, the stuff that works. Anthony Mackie, he's great. Sam Wilson has been a character that we've been with the MCU for a long time. You're on his journey, and you're understanding exactly what he's feeling, how he has to do these things. There are times he even says it, and I said it too, just take the serum, dude. And he's even like, hey, maybe I should take the serum. But the whole point of the fact is that Sam Wilson is doing this and is Captain America without using the serum. Ross has, to me, the biggest character arc, because even though I know, listen, it was William Hurt, but you saw all the stuff from Incredible Hulk all the way through, whether it was Civil War and other things. This guy's done some really kind of heinous crap, and he's trying to change himself, and he's trying to do the right thing, but can he change? That's the question. Can he change? Giancarlo Esposito. He's amazing, but he's underused. And I don't think they really knew what to do with him in this movie. There are times when he shows up, you're like, oh, he could be terrifying, but he's just kind of there. It's like, with the talent that Giancarlo Esposito is, this could have been given to anyone. And I just feel like he wasn't given the opportunity to shine. As we said, Tim Blake Nelson returns. I like Tim Blake Nelson. Same thing where the villain is like, it's okay, I understand. I'll tell you what I was expecting to like better than I did. The relationship with Anthony Mackie and Danny Ramirez. I like Danny Ramirez a lot. I liked him in Falcon and Winter Soldier. I liked him in Top Gun. I like him in a lot of things he's in. I felt like a lot of his stuff fell really flat in this movie. There are a couple you guys saw that scene when he's doing the dancing, and there's other times where he almost comes off a little bit annoying, where he's supposed to be like the eager sidekick, which plays sometimes, but that got a little bit tiresome. Again, stuff that works. I really enjoyed the ending. I enjoyed the ending a lot. It was a good build up to where they were setting this story up. And I said, all right, well, you're putting us in this particular position. And then, are we going to be pissed off because you kind of promised us a lot of that? Oh, I understand why you did it that way. I think that by the time you got to the end, I thought the end was really good. And look, I don't think this is necessarily a spoiler here, because you've seen this in the trailer and it's all over the marketing. People are going to ask about like the Red Hulk. I'll tell you what I really liked about the Red Hulk. I liked seeing Rage Hulk again. I saw it with a buddy, and we both said, it was really good to see, like, this is like the kind of the type of Hulk that we knew growing up, that kind of rage Hulk of just pure anger and chaos. And I thought that played really well. Carl Lumbly also as Isaiah Bradley. I will say this though, I think that if you didn't watch Captain or you didn't watch Winter Soldier and Falcon, you might be like you might not be as attached to the character because they set that up so well in that show that you see he's got a relationship with him, obviously, but it's kind of an abbreviated version of it, if that makes sense. So overall, like I said, there are movies. If this movie would have come out during the heyday of the Marvel 1 through 3, I think it'd be really lower on the list for people. But because Marvel's been in such this kind of up and down, and some of these movies just like, oh, it's like I am not a Love and Thunder fan. I am not a fan of the Marvels at all. I felt this movie was far better than that because I was following a story that I cared about. Even though this, like I said, it's fairly, should we say, I don't want to say dull, but sometimes sometimes it's a little slower. And like I said, it's more like a TV show. I feel like I was watching a TV episode more so than a big movie episode. But because I was engaged in Sam's story, I was like, okay, well, where are we going with this? And I never felt, even though sometimes this thing, the back and forth with Joaquin, Danny Ramirez's character was like, I'm like, okay, they're trying to hit a couple comedic notes that just aren't working. It never like ripped me out of the movie. I was just like, let's just move on from this. That there's a couple of questionable acting scenes here and there from a few different characters, but again, nothing that was just so horrible that I'm like, oh, this is ruining the movie. I think that because of the big action scenes at the ending, like I said, the movie was a fine chapter in the MCU and a good setup. I think that's probably why I said to myself, okay, yeah, this to me, I understand where they're going now with this, and there's some good kind of pieces. And Harrison Ford's great in the movie, by the way. Harrison Ford is really good in the movie. There's sometimes when I think for the last couple of things that he's been in, especially in big franchises, he's been locked in because I never thought he was locked in. But Harrison Ford in the Crystal Skull, I felt was just Harrison Ford. He wasn't really locked in. And then I think starting with The Force Awakens, and then other thing, and even in the last Indiana Jones movie, whatever you think about that movie, he's been locked into it, and he's locked into this movie. And I believed him as Ross, and I think he's really strong in this role. So overall, I'm so back and forth on it. I can't quite get it to fresh, but I can't say that it's horrible. Like I said, it's fine. Should you see it in the theater? If you're invested in the MCU, you should. But I'm going to go 2.9 out of 5. It almost makes it to the fresh, but it's at 2.9 out of 5. But I didn't mind watching it. I know, not a glowing review, but it's my honest review. It's how I felt about it. So I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it. If you're going to see it, let me know when you do see it. Did you think it was good? Did you think it was terrible? Did you think it was really great? Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. Thanks for joining us. Speaking of the MCU, I've been doing a full-on, for myself, a rewatch, but first time watching for my friend Sam. She had never seen a single MCU movie before. We are approaching Endgame. Today, we just released Ant-Man and the Wasp. Friday is Captain Marvel, and then next Tuesday is going to be Endgame. So if you want to catch up on all our reactions, you can. They're on the channel. We do a live show here every day. You can check that out. That's Monday through Friday. However, today's not a live show because I'm going to be interviewing Joe Manganiello, and that will be up next Wednesday. So we got a lot going on in this channel. Out of the theater reactions, tons of it. So put your comments in there. Put your thoughts in there. Want to hear from you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. See you later.